So this week we'll be talking about my shift, your shift, how it actually happens when you're eventually ready for this journey. You can call it spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it. But I'll call it my journey. So, this last week, I engaged with a group of women, and what I saw that was so glaring and was calling my attention is that people feel stuck, but they don't know why they are stuck, and they don't know how to come out of this stuck. And so this made me feel like, you know what? Maybe I should start explaining how my journey started to make them understand that nothing is permanent. Everything is just so temporary if you look at it from a different perspective. So I want you to understand, and I've talked about this before, that you are a vessel. Look, at least in my world and in the spiritual world, you are a vessel. I'm sure you want so many things in life. So people that come to me will usually want to marry or talk about the pain they are experiencing in a relationship. So you have to understand that you are a vessel. Between you and your creator is a light. So when you ask anything from God, is it money? Is it a career change? Is it marriage? Is it a relationship? Is it children? Whatever it is you ask from your creator as a vessel, you draw down a light immediately. And this light will surround your vessel. This light is supposed to come into your vessel, but for the light to come into your vessel and be sustainable, you have to clean your vessel. And I've always used this illustration of you thinking about your life as a bowl or a cup. If there is a hole in this cup or a hole in this bucket, it leaks. Whatever you put in it, that is liquid, right? When you put water in it, it's gonna leak out. So you have to understand that everything you want in your life, again, if you put it in a leaking vessel, it's gonna leak out. So here is where the job begins. The surrounding light is calling you to fix what is leaking in this vessel so that the light can come in and you can receive whatever you want in your life. But let's use my life as a typical example. This is what drove me into this journey. I wanted to remarry. And that was what I asked God. And immediately a light was surrounding my vessel. But I did not understand it for a very long time. So I was going in a cycle of not receiving what I really wanted from God because I did not understand myself and how life works. So if you're seeing me for the first time today, good luck to you. Congratulations, because you can now understand how to actually bring what you want into your life. And this draws me into the next thing I'm going to tell you. So when you are ready to evolve, when you accept this shift that I am willing to do whatever needs to be done to fix the leakage in my vessel, this will send you into your soul corrections. So what will your soul correction be? For me, one of my soul correction was anger. You know, your shadows in general. So if you've not watched my shadow video, go watch it so you can understand more of what I'm talking about. I really don't want to go back into that. But one of my shadows was anger. So for me to clean my vessel, I have to transform my anger into something more powerful. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I can express from a place of compassion what I think, people should know. Why are you being held? Why can't you move forward? Expressing it from a place of compassion instead of anger. I have now transformed my anger into understanding people more. Why do they do what they do? What is wrong with them? What is the root cause of what they are actually doing to me that makes me angry? I'm able to look at my anger from a different perspective now. Okay, it's not like the anger is gonna ever go away, but I'm able to manage it from a place of light. So you have to understand you're made of the light and the dark. It's not going anywhere. One will always shine more than one, is what we're trying to do. You're trying to bring light to shine more than the dark part of you. That is what it is. So you will go through something called dark night of the soul. Everything feels dark. You feel stuck. You feel like God has forgotten you. You feel like your prayers are not being answered. Things will fall apart. You may lose your job. Your relationship might break. So many things can happen. But the bottom line is you feel stuck. That's why I hear people say, that's where the word stuck comes from. But when you understand what you're going through, maybe from what I'm discussing with you right now, you would know that this phase is actually temporary. This phase is preparing you for what you actually want in your life, right? So the old self will have to die. This is a process of you shifting into a new identity, but it's very intense. So when you ask something from God, whatever is not serving your highest purpose, it will all have to fall off. And this is where people struggle because they don't want to let go of that job. They don't want to let go of that relationship. They don't want to let go of that business. But for you to actually move into what you want, you have to take this temporary failure. This is what dark night of the soul looks like. You know, when my dark night of the soul struck, I was praying. I was on the altar. I was on Jereze's altar. I was praying. So for you to know that I know what I'm talking about, Jereze actually sent me into my spiritual awakening, because God really did answer my prayer, but structures had to fall, right? Towers had to fall so that I can be reborn, transmuted, and transformed. So that is how my dark night of the soul happened. And one sad story that surrounded my dark night of the soul was that I was prepared to go to Jamaica for vacation with my friends. My ticket was bought, hotel was paid for, bag was packed, and I had to tell my friends I cannot move. She did everything to talk me out of that phase, but she could not. I could not move, you know? And I finally told God I was ready for the shift, and things began to move in my life. And the beautiful thing about this period in your life is that if you accept the shift, your teachers will show up. I didn't know what it was, but I told God I was ready to learn. I was ready for the lessons. And immediately I agreed to that. Doors started opening for me, for my teachers to come in. Where did my teachers come from? It came from YouTube, from TikTok, from children, you know, from my daughter, from my ex, you know. Things started happening, and I was leaning towards it. I began to understand the word spirituality. I began to understand the difference between being spiritual and being religious. I began to understand the integration of both. In this phase, people will say, pray harder, trust God, all is well. But you know it is not well. You know you've prayed enough. Now that I know what I know, praying was never the problem. Actually, your prayer being answered was the solution, and this is what it led you to. Just know that whenever you feel stuck, there's a breakthrough around the corner. Whenever you feel stuck, if you can be still and accept the shift, when the door is closed behind you, if you look a little bit far ahead, there's a cracked window, there's another open door. So instead of being stuck, tell God, I am ready for the shift. I am ready to evolve, and your door will start opening. This phase is the phase where you have to face your wounds, your childhood trauma, the things you've been avoiding about yourself. It has to do with your mind. Your ego will have to dissolve. You will have to go into that subconscious mind that is 95% and start to bring it to your consciousness that is only 5% and begin to deal with everything that has been holding you back. This is why going back to that inner child is inevitable if you want to heal. You know, the program we're doing right now, the self-love journey, ladies were telling me, oh, Tola, I thought you were going to be teaching me how to love myself. Yeah, you will love yourself, but there's a lot of detour. There's a lot of things surrounding you loving yourself. It is actually a journey. It is not you just flipping a switch. You have to understand that. And yes, we will talk about self-love again in another dimension, which will make you actually understand more. Honestly, not everybody is ready for this journey because it's tough. It is rough. It involves loss. It involves you feeling shame before you feel worthy again. It involves you bringing old wounds of shame, doubt, unworthiness, conditional love, things that were not working in your life, abandonment issue, anxiousness, PTSD. It involves a lot, and this is what leads you into your healing journey. This is what they call the inner work, because everything in you is coming up for you to face, for you to heal. And that is why, again, I always say, Healing is not linear. Okay, so don't blame yourself if you fall off the wagon today. Let's say what you're dealing with is, for example, sexual addiction, and you find yourself sleeping around again. Don't blame yourself. Treat yourself with compassion. That's self-love right there, and just come back to your healing journey. Some days are great, some days are not. Just understand that and just continue to move on. Don't give up on this journey any longer. You have to do it. If you want to move forward, you have to do it. And after all of this is in process, you will go through a period of test. So for me, mine was, I want to marry. And the thing is, I've always attracted emotionally unavailable people in my life. So Spirit will test you, will bring people that look good, right? But the energy they are still bringing is emotionally unavailability. So with discernment, you are able to say, no, this is what I'm saying I do not want. And you are able to say, no, I am not going back into this cycle. I am not repeating this pattern. I surrender, and you let it go. And it becomes easier and easier until the real thing shows up. So I'm telling you that when you ask something from God, there will be a period, there will be a space where you have to wait. It's called the wait period. It's called you having to wait on divine timing before what you really want comes. And when it comes, it's so beautiful. It is beautiful. Your life will unfold and be beautiful again. This is the journey that leads you to your true Dharma. This is the journey that makes you understand loving yourself fully, that makes you understand that marriage begins with you. This journey is the journey that makes you understand that when you love yourself fully, your life transforms. The energies you bring into your life is transformed. Your true job, your true purpose aligns with you. And honestly, another thing I realize is that husband you are looking for is in your true purpose. So if you're busy being a nurse right now and you're calling food and you're still wasting your time doing nursing, you're wasting your time. This is the journey that sends you into your true purpose. If you're supposed to be doing something you look down on because you want to do something that looks prestigious, your husband is waiting for you on this hand. So my dear, what matters the most is understanding the truth of who you are without looking for validation outside of yourself, without thinking of what Tokpe or Shegun will say, without thinking of what Stella, what Balaji, what Tolu will think of you. You are choosing yourself fully. You are aligning. Everything you do becomes, what will God feel about this? You're cleaning your plate. You're cleaning your vessel. You're cleaning every wrong you've done in the past that you have the ability to correct. This is what healing is about. Another truth I have to tell you about this phase is that it can happen more than once in a lifetime. I think I've been through it over and over and over in my lifetime before I finally understood what I was going through. And even after understanding Dark Night of the Soul, I think I've been through it more than another 2 times. And this is why. Because you have multiple layers of skin to shed. Maybe the reason why you fell into the first one is to understand your career and choose a better career path. Another one might be your marriage. Another one might be financial breakthrough. It could be different things for you. Maybe you're struggling with physical appearance. You will go through that Dark Night of the Soul several times if you've not learned your lesson. If you learn it at the very first time, yeah, that may be your first and last time. But if you don't, it will reoccur until you finally finish all those lessons and move into your next level of greatness. Another thing you have to understand about Dark Night of the Soul is that when it reoccurs, it's not as terrible as the very first time. The subsequent rounds might not involve you losing your job. It just requires you purging because you already know what you're going through. So it's more manageable, right? Your relationship might not break apart, but you will go through a phase where you need to shed another layer of skin, right? To be reborn and rebirth. Rebirth happens several times in your lifetime if you are open to it, and always gonna shift your destiny higher. That is the beautiful things about it. Now, what happens in this period? First of all, you might cry a lot. You might cry a lot. You might scream a lot. You might lose your appetite and become very, very skinny without a very short period of time. So I would encourage you to hydrate even if you cannot eat in this period. I would encourage you to pray. I would encourage you to embrace being in solitude. Like, this time requires you to really be alone and focus on God. This period requires you to probably just light a candle and look at that candle, just focus on it. This is the phase where you learn how to truly start to meditate. So instead of you talking to multiple people, you can go on YouTube and see what is the meaning of dark night of the soul. How do I process this phase in my life? And you're beginning to see, to get informations that help you move from this phase. Another thing about this phase is that people will fall off. You will lose people. You will actually even lose families. You will lose friends. And it's okay, because some people you will not need for your next level of greatness. And again, one thing about this phase is if you accept the shift, you start moving and exploring your true gift. So what will your gift be? Yours might be dreaming that you've left dormant. It will come to you at that period in time. Again, if you accept the shift, that clause will always be there. Yours might be seeing, yours might be hearing things, yours might be feeling, and just that inner knowing. And you begin to align with God. This phase is what encourages you that everything you want is already within you, that you have a close and personal relationship with God. This is when you begin to have the confidence that I don't have to call my prophetess, I don't have to call my prophet, I don't have to call my alpha, I don't have to call my apostle. I know God is with me. This is when you learn to walk with your angels. This is another episode entirely. You will learn a lot about yourself, and your life begins to become beautiful every single day. So I'm saying today to you, if what you want in your life is marriage, I want you to know it's already around you. You are a vessel. You have drawn down this surrounding light. All you need to do is to move closer to your Creator by closing the vessel. Clean the leakage in your vessel. Start to work on your soul corrections. Start to understand what your shadows are. Start to understand your childhood wounds that are holding you back, that makes you misbehave when you meet other people. You felt abandoned as a child, so you are holding this new relationship, this new person in your life responsible for making you grounded and not feeling abandoned. That is not their job. He is not your father. He is your significant other. Learn to love yourself fully. Nobody is abandoning you. If you feel unworthy, check out and go back into your inner child. Why am I feeling unworthy? You are worthy. Deal with that. It is in your past. Don't bleed on people that have not hurt you, because if you keep doing this thing, they will keep living. And until you correct this soul correction, you will continue to go in a cycle. Please understand that life is easy if you choose to make it easy. Wow. This is Tola, helping you expand your consciousness. I love you. See you next week.